If you really want something, the entire universe conspires in helping you achieve it. So when we interact with students, generally luxury, the first word comes into mind of most of the students is expensive.
But there are so many students out there who want to pursue luxury in their masters or in their bachelors, but they are struggling to find apt sources or apt universities.
It is not that India is lacking something in it, but it is something very new to India. Even top B schools like IIMs today have introduced electives for luxury marketing, luxury branding, luxury retailing. We all admit that within India there are mini Bharats. I'm not convinced that okay, this car could be of 2 crore rupees. How would you convince others to buy it?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Richa Reflects. And today I have with me Dr. Sheetal Jain. She's the founder and CEO of Luxe Analytics. It's a luxury market intelligence firm based in New Delhi. She's globally published researcher, author, luxury brand strategist, and consumer behavior expert. Credited with conducting India's first quantitative study on luxury consumer behavior. She brings over 2 decades of experience across industry and academia with 100 plus publications and deep expertise in luxury, retail consumer behavior, and sustainability. She's amongst the top global voices in luxury research with a strong focus on India. She has been featured in Business World, Economic Times, Forbes, Mint, etc. And Dr. Jan has trained above 12,000 professionals and students and regularly speaks at prestigious institutions such as IIM Bangalore, Ahmedabad, ISB, Wharton, ESSEC, SRD, etc. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you so much,
So,
Richa. It's a pleasure.
yeah, so let's dive right into the podcast for today. Uh, I guess you've spent, around 2 decades in this industry helping luxury brands understand India. So from your vantage point, how has India's relationship changed with luxury over the years?
As we all know that India has been historically one of the richest countries in the world. It was also called once upon a time as Sone ki Chidiya or Golden Bird.
Right,
Uh, from hand-woven textiles to jewelry to perfumery, I think we have got extraordinary history and legacy that spans over 5,000 years. But
right,
having said that, we all knew that with Britishers ruling India, invading our wealth, lot changed to India. And there was a phase when luxury got restricted to limited few elite royals, maharajas, or aristocrats. It was only in early 2000 that we saw democratization of luxury in India, which means shift of luxury from class to masses. Just 20 years, last 20 years, we are seeing luxury in India, and therefore we say that luxury is at a very, very nascent stage in India. It's still at a developing stage. Having said that, in these last 20 years, what changes we are witnessing or how we have seen these consumers evolving is very interesting. Indian luxury consumers, because my PhD research was essentially the same topic, what motivates Indians to buy luxury goods. But in the last, as I said, 20 years, things have really changed. From conspicuous consumption, the focus is more and more now getting towards conscious consumption. From loud logos to now people have started also admiring subtle signals. And from materialism, many of us are today looking at meaning. So, this is how we can see the journey of Indian consumers is evolving over a period of time.
right. Especially with the onset of Gen Z, I guess things would be changing a lot more faster. With the onset of AI and everything as well, I guess things are pretty dynamic these days across all industries. Good to know this. Especially from your valuable experience, I guess everyone is going to learn a lot from this podcast, I'm sure. And so generally, I mean, I've also been a very recent pass out from university, so I can understand fully well. But when you generally interact with students, what is the common misconception that you see amongst them about the perception of luxury?
So when we interact with students, generally luxury, the first word comes into mind. Most of the students is expensive.
Right.
So I question them, is everything which is expensive is luxury? Then they start thinking on it. Other words which mostly pop into their mind is show off, loud, logos, glamour. These are some of the key words which most of the students associate when they talk about luxury. But having said that, when they really start studying, learning, observing, and knowing the true meaning of luxury, their perception towards luxury definitely changes, that it is much beyond being just the logos.
Right. I mean, I was one of those students, I would admit, because when I began this journey, I guess I was interested and fascinated to learn more about it. But in the beginning, I did not have much idea on what this industry holds for me. So I'm glad to have removed all these misconceptions for myself. Especially in the Indian context, do you think India truly understands luxury emotionally and culturally?
Definitely, India understands luxury emotionally, and this is very well evident today in so many campaigns which global luxury brands are doing for Indian market. Let's talk about the recent campaign of BMW, which talked about find your best half and find your perfect match. So today brands have understood that it's not just about a product and power and technology and performance, but also for the Indian market, emotions, trust, and meaning is taking front seat. So, with these campaigns only, rather, even Mercedes Benz new campaign was all about dream days. That's all about the emotions, desires, and aspirations for getting a luxury car and making it a reality.
Right.
And now coming to the second part of the cultural aspect. So definitely India is one of the most culturally rich country across globe. It's
Right.
one of the most diverse countries in terms of language, subcultures. So we all admit that within India there are many Bharats,
Right.
and the northern part of India is so different from the southern part, and likewise.
Hmm.
So therefore, in such a rich country, when global luxury brands have to work in India, they have to really understand the nuances and the cultural references which are very important for this country and for the brands to be successful in a country like India.
Right. I guess at the top of my mind, I can, I'm reminded of Bulgari and their Mangal Sutra, which is highly culturally and deeply rooted in India's emotional and cultural aspects, because that is one piece of jewelry that only married women wear in India, and Bulgari has translated their jewelry expertise into India's culture really well. So I guess all the brands which are upcoming and want to establish themselves really have to understand these nuances.
Correct. Having said that, that's what have really worked in favor of Bulgari, because they understood what Indians want and
Right.
how to deeply connect with the emotions of Indians
Right.
by introducing such a piece which is just not a jewelry but ritual for Indian women.
Right.
And for lot many global luxury brands who have been struggling to enter India just because their success formula in the Western world cannot be copy pasted to Indian market. They
Definitely not.
have to
Hmm.
context of India. They have to understand the consumers of India, and then only they can win India. So that's the mantra, and that's where in our brand also Luxe Analytics we help global luxury brands to understand the Indian consumers, their unique buying behavior, their culture, their beliefs, values, mindset, and how by understanding each of these things they can really create some win-win strategies wherein they can really not just enter to Indian market, but really grow in Indian market.
Right, right. Absolutely. So let's talk about why we are doing this podcast, because we are doing this for students to understand and really learn from your experience and expertise. So for students and for young professionals in general, you've taught across various institutions, you've spoken across various prestigious institutions. So in your view, what do global luxury schools do really well in comparison to the Indian luxury education?
Rather, I want to take this question in a little from a slightly different lens. That what are some of the key points which I think can be better learned in global schools? While how some of the things are very important when any student who has worked or who has studied in the global context or from some global school, when they come to India, what are the key challenges which they may face? I think that would be more relevant for them to understand. So the first point is, according to me, as we all know, that the concept of luxury has been originated in Europe. And let's talk about brands like Hermes, which was born in the year 1837, or Louis Vuitton, which was introduced in the year 1854. So we can see that these brands have long history, legacy of more than 150 years. And we should try to understand that, uh, this European entire market, they have uh, a luxury ecosystem which is probably decades old. you
Right.
know Even when these students are studying in these global luxury schools, which are not just now established, it's been a while when these institutions have been established. And the entire when they are studying there, when they are learning things, maybe when they are going to ateliers or masons or museums, or they are experiencing craft lineages, all those kind of experiences which they are gaining, because these schools have been there for ages. The In Europe is a place which we say is birthplace of luxury. So you have first hand experience to what luxury is. It's not just limited to your textbooks, but your experience, observation, your immersion into the true meaning of the detailed craftsmanship and how these brands came into being, what goes behind the scenes. You can see each and every small little minute detail and learn so much from it, right? Even the retail infrastructure is huge when it comes to these countries.
Yes.
But as I said in your previous question, that luxury is still at a developing stage in India. It's
Right.
just last 20 years story if we forget about our traditional history before Britishers came to India, right? Because that's a old thing. But if we talk in today's context, is everything in luxury. The first luxury store, the global luxury brand which came to India, was in early 2000. So you can just see how new the entire concept is to a country like India. And therefore, when these Indian schools are also trying to really do a lot of such things, because there are a lot of immersion programs which has been introduced in Indian schools, uh, and not just the luxury schools in India, but even top B schools like IIMs today have introduced electives
Hmm.
for luxury marketing, luxury branding, luxury retailing. And I'm really happy and glad to share that in a lot of top tier colleges in India, rather, I have introduced luxury programs to fill this talent gap which is there in our industry. We are seeing that a lot of brands are coming to India. The entire since entire world is bullish on India. Our we are continuously seeing the per capita income rising, aspirational young consumers. All these growth factors are leading to more and more demand for luxury goods in India. But then there is a talent gap. How to serve these consumers. So for that, it was very important, and therefore a lot of Indian luxury schools have also come, and a lot of traditional B schools have also introduced luxury as a program. Now, that can be made more experience oriented so
Hmm.
that the true meaning of luxury could be understood by the students. Now, one practical problem which I have seen, because a lot of students across globe, they message me, they interact with me once they have done from these prestigious colleges globally. And when they decide to come to India, maybe because they always wanted to come to India, or maybe because of the harsh reality that they could not get a decent job in those countries, right? Now they struggle to get jobs in India. There are few things behind it, because one, for them, as they have studied there, they don't understand the Indian context. None of these schools, global school, will ever teach you India, Indian context, Indian consumer, and then how do you come your and make yourself prepared to work in this industry in India? Of
It
course,
doesn't,
because
yeah, yeah, it doesn't
yeah.
make sense for them as well to include India, because that is an emerging market. I mean, it's not a case study yet. We have not established ourselves yet, so that that contextual knowledge will always be missing if we study abroad and want to come back here.
But now I think a lot of schools, even as I gave my own example, that I have given like sessions with Neoma Business School France. I have also been invited by ESEC France, ISADE Spain, just to talk on Indian luxury market. Because they also today understand that a lot of Indians also, in
Hmm.
most of the cohort, we see a lot of Indians there, right? Because Indians today really see luxury as a sector where they want to work, where they want to establish their careers. Therefore, when they have studied there, since it's a very small, even if some of these colleges are now giving India some due respect and calling someone who knows Indian market and talk about it, but that's also very for a very small duration, which does not actually, I would say, completely give justice to what needs to actually understand thoroughly the Indian luxury market. So
Right.
there, these students really struggle, and I would sincerely give advice to all the students who have gone to these global luxury schools to study. It's really a good decision which you have made. But at the same time, if you plan to work in India or in some whichever country you plan to work, you really need to understand the culture, values, belief, all of that in that particular country context. If you want to make a mark in that particular country. Else, I think just having knowledge which is very shallow or which is not really deep down to understand a particular country, it will make them difficult to find great jobs.
Right, right, right. So what kind of skill set do you think, luxury education is actually supposed to build? Does it build skills? Does it build taste, mindset, cultural literacy, or business intelligence?
The question, I believe it's the mix of everything which you must have if you're working in
Yeah.
this industry. First word I think you used was skills. So both technical and soft skills are very, very important when you are working in this industry. Soft skills equally. You have to develop long-term relationships with these high-end consumers. So you must have not just technical skills, but also soft skills. Then you talked about, I think the second point was
Taste.
uh, you must have yourself taste and mindset for luxury, because if you yourself are not convinced that okay, this car could be of 2 crore rupees, how
Right.
would you convince others to buy it
Right.
when you are working in this industry? So
Yeah.
you should have that mindset. Or if you have to sell a room which costs say 1 lakh per night, and you yourself are not convinced that oh, I have to just sleep, why is it so expensive, you will never be able to gain the confidence of the person on the other side, right? So it's very important to for you also to have that refined taste, to understand the importance of that detailing which these luxury brands do,
Right.
and that mindset for luxury if you really want to work in this industry. And definitely business intelligence is need of the hour. You need to have that business acumen when you are working in this industry, then only you will be able to make real true sense in this industry.
Right, right. So why do you think it is still difficult to, teach luxury formally in India, despite us or despite India being such a culturally and craft driven and heritage rich country?
No, I would not say that it is difficult to teach luxury in India. But as I already mentioned that India luxury is still new. People now are, slowly and gradually knowing what actually luxury means, and we already have our culture, tradition of history, and history of craftsmanship, be it be jewelry or be it be any kind of art forms or metal work. So this has already always existed in India, right? But when it comes to actually teaching luxury, since this was not like something which we ever formally thought could be a subject in any of the traditional B schools, or do we really require a luxury school? It was never thought like that. I still remember that after my PhD, when I went to one of the top tier B schools in the country and pitched them that we should also have luxury as an elective. And when we can have rural marketing as an elective, this was my argument. Why can't we have luxury marketing? Because if we want our students to know about bottom of the pyramid, they should also have the knowledge about top of the pyramid,
Right.
and at least they can understand the entire spectrum and make better learned decisions, while they are working in whichever industry they are. At least they should be given a chance to choose from the elective if they at all want to work with the top of the pyramid. So I don't think India, I think, now knows that yes, luxury is very important. And this is a segment which is truly growing in India. India is amongst the fastest growing markets for the luxury in the world.
Definitely.
And therefore, I think most of the B schools, even the traditional ones today, are having some small, at least, course on luxury. And a lot of new schools are getting established or have recently got established, which only talks about luxury and specializes on luxury.
Right, because I mean, from my point of view, when I was trying to get into a luxury as my master's, and I was very specific that I want to pursue MBA, but that too in luxury. So I was actually short of options when I was doing my research, because I did my research around 2021-22, and at that time, I guess, I mean, I still feel that there are, because for an elective you need to join the full time general MBA program, and then you can choose an elective. But then to fully understand and just study luxury end to end, I still feel that we are more dependent, or we look up to the European schools for luxury education. So that is where I guess the gap is. And like you said, there is a talent gap, because we are aspiring to become something, but we want to apply the professional aspect to some other cultural and geographical location. So I guess there is a gap between the talent and the kind of education. So I myself have faced this challenge, and I still feel that there are so many students out there who want to pursue luxury in their masters or in their bachelors, but they are struggling to maybe find apt sources or apt universities or institutions where they can reach out and
I
learn.
completely agree, because so many students keep approaching me all the time about which schools should we apply. We have handful luxury specific schools in India. Like just an elective is of course very few hours, but if you are very sure that yes you want to build career in luxury industry, then of course you would want to do a full time MBA or something in luxury itself. So they really struggle even today. Even
Yeah.
in 2026. But having said that, I truly believe that it is not that India is lacking something in it, but because, as I already mentioned, it is something very new to India.
Hmm.
Therefore,
Hmm.
this is the scenario. Luxury has always been the way of life for Europe because it's
Right.
centuries old when it comes
Hmm.
to Europe. See that tradition, that culture of luxury, all that in Europe, and therefore those schools are really well established.
Right.
And everybody, all Indians, perhaps most of them aspire to do from some of the good European schools, right?
Right. Right.
So the background is that. But the second part of it, even if some of the students I know for a few reasons they cannot go to Europe and study. There could be various reasons behind it, but still, I would say and suggest those students that don't feel that, if you have not gone to any European school, that means you would never understand luxury. It is nothing of that kind. If you really have that desire, the urge for learning,
Hmm.
passion, eye for detailing,
Mm,
and you believe perfection and performance, then even if you do some good course from some of the schools in India and you keep reading, and my
mm,
firm belief is that today the reader, tomorrow the leader. So
mm,
if you really read, go to the depth of the subject, and also do a lot of observation, while you are traveling somewhere, while you are going through airports, look at those stores, look at some of the malls, or look at different sectors. That could be even hospitality sectors. When you are going, just try to understand the nuances, and try to read more and more around it. Try to join some online courses also, some of the courses like LVMH inside, and there are many these big conglomerates are also, Caring is also having their course. So there are hundreds of ways. If you really want to learn something, you will learn it. So don't think that just because of you could not go there, it is not possible for you to make career in this industry. I don't believe in that.
mm.
If you have firm belief, you will definitely be able to learn it and do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, having said this, I've still seen that, people in India or young professionals in India, they are more inclined towards, glamour-led roles, despite, other available opportunities that might be back-end or operations driven. But, students still aspire to look up to glamour led roles. So why do you think these operations and back end based roles still remain invisible, although I guess they are more available for us as a market rather than glamour driven roles? Because like you said, and we have discussed so far, that India is still a new and a nascent market. And I myself believe that these roles would probably help us do better when we actually reach that stage where we are able to, function well in those glamour-led roles.
See, as I said, that some of the misconceptions which most of the students have is luxury is all about glamour, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But I believe this is a sector wherein you have to put a lot of hard work, lot more than if you were working in some other industry. Because
right.
this in this industry, you are serving the best, and you need to be your best when you serve the best. So that means it has to be like Six Sigma perfection,
Yeah,
accuracy in what. And in terms of roles, I believe today, like any other industry, luxury is also having plethora of roles, plethora of opportunities. Be on the digital side, you can be a digital manager, you can be a sustainability manager. Now a
yeah.
lot of brands are putting so much emphasis on sustainability. It can be a lot of PR roles, definitely.
Mm,
Public relation roles are always required. Then you have market research roles,
yeah,
because it's very important to know that every brand has understood the importance of deep listening, be create difference once you understand your consumers. So you have even finance, accounts, you have all the functions even in the luxury industry,
right.
or in a luxury brand, like you would have in any other brand, right? Students not be myopic when
Hmm.
they are thinking about luxury, that it's only glamour.
Yeah.
You, in whichever area of interest,
Hmm.
you can work in that specific role and function for luxury brand.
Leading to this, I guess there are few capabilities that Indian students actually underestimate, but global luxury brands quietly rely on them. How can we remove again this kind of misconception for students and help them build other capabilities which might help them build and go longer in their careers in luxury?
Yeah, I believe if you have to work in luxury industry, it is very important for you to have these five P's of doing luxury business. Performance, it's most important, the performance. You should have perseverance. You should have patience. You should have eye for perfection and believe in precision. So, if you believe in these five, I think your journey for doing any kind of roles in luxury business, you will perfectly be able to do it. It's not instant gratification. Luxury is all about patience, perseverance, and you have to think about precision. Everything has to be very, very precisely done in the best possible, most appropriate way. And definitely, as I said, performance is something which no one can ignore. It's the product excellence, innovation, which
Yeah.
makes these brands today what they are. So
Yeah.
that's my advice to the students, to focus on these five things if they really want to work and they build their careers in luxury industry.
I think you've beautifully summarized this, and in a very crisp manner to actually understand it. It becomes much more simpler and structured, to focus on these five specific pillars and work around them. I mean, and now speaking of other luxury brands which want to enter India, I guess there are multiple brands that you've worked with and helped them enter the Indian market. What do you think, excites them more beyond the numbers?
Okay, Rita, let me be very honest. Of course, numbers are something which are very, very important for all the brands.
Yes.
It's thinking around numbers, definitely. But having said that, definitely they are really fascinated to India today because everybody knows that this decade belongs to India.
Yeah.
And in any of the sectors, we are seeing tremendous growth where most of the other countries are struggling. They are seeing recessionary trends. A lot of geopolitical tensions are happening across the globe, but we can still see that stability in India. So that is one key reason that why most of the brands today are wanting to enter or expand in Indian market. Apart from that, I believe that these brands also find India very interesting because India is one of its kind in the way we talk about the culture or the subculture. Each state is different. The consumers are so very different across. So one size fits one is the strategy. In India, we cannot have a copy paste strategy within India also. Whatever we have made strategies for the Western world or even for China, if we
Hmm.
just blindly put it in India, it will not work. And within India also, if we believe that the same strategy works for Southern and Northern India, it will not work.
Yeah.
So these brands really are looking at these qualitative aspects when they are other than numbers when they are working in India, so that they can make sure that they understand India better and can deliver the best to India based upon the cultural relevance of each of the units in India or each specific geographic location in India.
So where do you think India can actually lead in the global luxury industry and not just participate?
Lead as in, do you refer or infer to the Indian brands going global here, or are you referring to that?
You can say that as well, but also, India becoming a market or a leader in a specific category.
So definitely the categories. So I'll talk both the aspects. So the categories in luxury which are doing phenomenally well in India right now, presently, is one experiential category. So travel is doing phenomenally well. There has been a tremendous increase in the frequency of travel, both within the country and outbound travel.
Hmm.
And Indians are really looking for experiences when they travel. They don't want to be the passive consumers, but really want to be active consumers. And apart from the experiential luxury, the other very interesting area which I see growing phenomenally in India is automobiles
Hmm.
and BPC, that is beauty and personal care industry. That is also phenomenally growing in India. Now, talking about Indian, what are the Indian brands or yet not established brands, but they can really do great. The sectors. So essentially, there are a lot of things. Of course, fashion is one thing we have always spoken about, craftsmanship, our artisan. So fashion is one particular, and some of our designers are already established their footprint globally. But this is just the beginning. We'll see more and more. Then jewelry again. We have heritage and history of so many different kind of jewelry forms again. Jadao from Jaipur is just one example of it. So this again I see really becoming big, and globally, even it will be more and more become popular, and some of the Indian luxury brands will do wonders globally in the coming years. And then, of course, our spices, saffron,
Yeah.
tea, Assam tea, and then we have metal work, or we have pashmina.
Yeah.
The best pashmina in the world, Kashmir, it is actually the Indian.
Yeah.
So we'll see a lot of these categories actually in the, and of course, hospitality, we have already made a mark. Our brands Taj, Oberoi are doing pretty well, and soon we'll see more such brands which will become global brands. There are a couple of sectors in which we have already, even if I talk about skincare, so we have Kama, Forest Essentials, they have opened up stores globally.
Yeah.
So slowly, gradually, we'll see lot much also happening in this front.
Mm.
And it's just that we should have all brands, I would say, our India has got such rich craftsmanship, history, heritage, legacy. It's just that we should package well, we should brand, we should have great quality, and we should have um, really put all our skills in storytelling.
Yeah.
That is very important. We
Yeah.
have lot of capabilities. It's just that we have been inspiration for so many global luxury brands.
Yeah.
India has been inspired for so many years. Talk about Louis Vuitton to Prada to Dior,
Yeah.
you know, inspired these brands. And now the time has come for us to really shine on the global map. The journey has already started, and we'll be, making it big very soon.
I really want to ask you that when you look back at your own journey, what do you think luxury education has or luxury industry has actually taught you that no other aspect of education ever could?
It's a nice question indeed, Richa. So I think I have really learned through my luxury education also, because I did my PhD in luxury, and then in luxury industry also, all about that you have to keep learning, keep upskilling. There is no time when you will see that, oh, you know everything. There'll never be such time. And the speed at which the things are changing
Hmm.
in luxury also is really phenomenal. So if you really want to work in this industry, you have to stay updated,
Hmm.
and you have to be a keen learner, a lifelong learner. Reading, again, I emphasize every time a lot that there is nothing better than reading more and more, than attending a lot of conferences, etc. That has also helped me to um, stay updated on what this industry is all about. And of course, I have learned to be more patient in the journey, because it takes time to establish. Because first I completed my PhD. That too itself is a long journey to do
Hmm.
PhD. You need patience. And then when I started my own startup, Luxe Analytics, so it takes a lot of time for anything, to really come up. So you have to have patience. Like we say, Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
So you should, luxury is all about delayed gratification.
Hmm.
It is not something which is very, very instant.
Hmm.
And definitely, you have to be perfect. You have to have that eye for perfection if you want to work in this industry. That has been my real learning from all these years, whether it is education or whether it is industry. You have to, in both rather, you have to do this. Then only you'll be able to grow in this industry.
Yeah, I guess the fact that you mentioned about delayed gratification, you know, I've always been told this because I've done my bachelor's in fashion technology, and when I was back in NIFT, that times also, our professors used to say that don't look for instant gratification, and I think from my bachelor's days itself, this has been ingrained really well into my mind. And when people talk to me about bigger paychecks and other things amongst other gratifications that you want to pursue as a professional, I guess this is really important for us to understand, because building luxury, and not only as a brand but also as a career, it really takes time, effort, and patience. And I think that is the way to go. um,
You have to take baby steps every day and
yeah,
strive to learn more and more from anyone around,
yeah.
which you see. You know, it could be any platform, any individual, any course. It could be anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is why I started my LinkedIn journey as well, because at that time, I think it was really important for me to understand perspectives from different people across the globe, what they are doing, which sector they are working in, and obviously the geopolitical situations which are really dynamic these days, and what is their impact on the industry in general. So I think all these things, reading, knowing more perspectives, doing some kinds of certifications, have in general also helped me to a place where I am, and I really hope to continue doing that and become a better professional in the industry.
You're
Yeah.
doing pretty well. You will continue to do
Thank you. Thank
better.
you so much. I think we are nearing to the end of this podcast. But before we conclude, I guess I wanted to ask if there is anything or any advice, or, anything that you want students to actually take away from our conversation, any one thing that, should stay with them. Um,
So I would just say to all the students listening this podcast that whether you have been able to do a luxury course from Europe or India, if you have deep desire to work in this industry, if you're really passionate, nobody can stop you. Just have that hunger, work in that step, do lot of reading, networking events, even LinkedIn platform helps you to learn from people across, understand different views, having more broader opinion about few things and understanding. Do a lot of courses, whatever possible, online, offline. All of this will really help you. And as we say, there's this famous proverb that if you really want something, um, the entire universe conspires in helping you achieve it. और इसका इंडियन वर्जन जो है कि अगर आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहते हो तो पूरी कायनात आपको उसे मिलाने में लग जाती है. सो जस्ट मैनिफेस्ट एंड डू इट. यू कैन डू इट. So best wishes to all my students, to every student who wants to make career in this industry.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful conversation, and I'm really, hopeful, and I'm sure that, a lot of students would be watching this and would take away a lot of valuable suggestions and perspectives that you had to share.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.